The summer of 2026 is already proving to be one of the most complex and layered transfer windows Manchester United have faced in recent memory. And right now, in the middle of June, the pieces are moving fast. Too fast for some clubs to keep up. But for United, the picture is becoming clearer by the day, even if the path forward is still filled with obstacles, negotiations and decisions that will define the club for years to come. It is now clear that Manchester United are not approaching this window casually. The club have already secured Atalanta midfielder Ederson as their first major signing of the summer. That alone signals intent. Michael Carrick has a vision for how this squad should look, and he is moving with purpose to make that vision a reality. But the work is far from done. There are multiple deals in motion simultaneously, and each one is connected to the others in ways that make this window feel like a chess match rather than a shopping trip. The situation is this. United need to strengthen in midfield, they need to solve their left-wing problem, and they need to offload Marcus Rashford before they can do either of those things properly. These three issues are not separate stories, they are one story, and understanding how they connect is the key to understanding everything that is happening at Old Trafford right now. Let us start where the tension is highest. The reality for the club is that every delay in selling Rashford creates a delay in signing his replacement. That is not speculation. That is the confirmed situation on the ground right now. United have made an inquiry for Crysencio Summerville of West Ham. The interest is genuine, the fit is clear. But the club cannot commit to spending serious money on a new left winger while Rashford remains on the books at £325,000 per week. Think about that number for a moment, £325,000 every single week. That is the wage that does not fit the new salary structure Manchester United are trying to implement. It is not just about the transfer fee. It is about what Rashford costs every single week he is still a United player. The longer this drags on, the more damage it does to United's ability to operate cleanly in this window. And here is where the stakes become very real. Tottenham Hotspur have also made contact with West Ham about Summerville. Time is not on United's side. If they cannot move Rashford quickly enough, they risk losing Summerville to a rival. That is the uncomfortable truth sitting at the heart of this entire transfer window. If you want the kind of deep analysis that breaks down exactly what is happening at your club, without the noise and without the exaggeration, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is built for supporters who want the full picture, not just the headlines. Subscribe to Harris United Analyst and never miss a breakdown like this one. Let us now go through each strand of this story carefully, because every single piece matters. Marcus Rashford and the Barcelona collapse. The Rashford saga has been one of the defining storylines of this summer. The 28-year-old spent last season on loan at Barcelona, and by any measure the loan was a success. He contributed 28 goal contributions without even being a guaranteed starter at the Camp Nou. That is a significant return for a player who some had written off after his difficult final years in his previous stint at United. Barcelona had an option to buy Rashford for a fee equivalent to £26 million. That deadline passed on June 15th, and Barcelona let it lapse. The reason is straightforward. The Spanish club prioritised the signing of Anthony Gordon, completing that deal for £69 million. With that significant outlay, and with their ongoing pursuit of a striker to replace Robert Lewandowski, Barcelona had no appetite to spend on Rashford as well. The evidence suggests that Barcelona's decision was purely financial and tactical, not a reflection of Rashford's quality. The player had already agreed personal terms with the club. He made no secret of his desire to stay in Spain on a permanent basis, but football is a business and Barcelona made their priorities clear. So Rashford is now heading back to Manchester after the World Cup concludes, unless another buyer emerges. And United are doing everything they can to make sure another buyer does emerge. Here is the key detail that changes the entire dynamic. There is a clause in Rashford's contract that allows any club, excluding Liverpool and Manchester City, to sign him for £40 million. That clause exists. It is confirmed. But what is also now confirmed is that United are willing to accept less than £40 million if it means they can move the player on quickly. The reason United are slashing the price is not because they have suddenly reassessed Rashford's value. It is because they understand that every week he remains a United player, the club is paying wages that belong to a salary structure that no longer exists at the club. Speed is worth more than the extra few million they might squeeze from the asking price. That is a calculated decision, and it tells you everything about where United's priorities lie right now. Crysencio Summerville and the left-wing solution. Now let us talk about the player United want to bring in. Crysencio Summerville is 24 years old. He plays for West Ham, who were relegated to the Championship at the end of last season. He is currently representing the Netherlands at the 2026 World Cup, and he scored a superb goal in the Netherlands' opening match of the tournament. The situation is that West Ham's relegation has fundamentally changed the calculus around Summerville's future. He is one of the club's most valuable assets, and following their drop to the second tier of English football, the Hammers are expected to sell several of their best players this summer. Summerville, who is under contract until June 2029, is among those expected to leave. United have already made an opening inquiry to West Ham about his availability and his situation. That inquiry was made during conversations about Mateus Fernandes, which tells you United are approaching this window with a joined-up strategy rather than chasing individual players in isolation. Now, why does Summerville suit Manchester United specifically? The evidence is very clear on this point. He falls within the 22 to 26 age bracket that United's recruitment strategy currently prioritises. He has 5 years of Premier League experience, which means he does not need time to adjust to the demands of English football. He does not command an automatic starting position, which aligns with the depth United are trying to build in their squad. And his versatility is valuable because Matheus Cunha can play off the left, Patrick Dorgu is more comfortable further forward, and Summerville gives the manager another option in that area. He has been described as dangerously quick, and his performances at club level and now at the World Cup have only strengthened the case for his signing. West Ham are asking for a fee in the region of £50 million, and that is the figure United will need to budget for if they want to get this deal done. But here is the complication. Tottenham Hotspur have contacted West Ham about Summerville as a potential alternative if their preferred move for Manchester City winger Savinho does not come together. That makes this a race. And United cannot officially enter that race until Rashford is sold. The urgency is real, and it is documented. There is also another layer to this. Roma, the Italian club, are pursuing Summerville as well. Their interest has emerged because they are also trying to sign Mason Greenwood on a permanent basis from Marseille, and they are simultaneously looking to strengthen their left-wing position. Roma's entry into the chase for Summerville drives his value upward and adds another competitor for United to contend with, Mateus Fernandes and the midfield rebuild. While the left-wing situation grabs headlines, the midfield story is equally significant. Manchester United have already signed Ederson from Atalanta, which was a statement of intent from Michael Carrick. But the work in midfield is not finished. Mateus Fernandes is a West Ham midfielder who has attracted attention from some of the biggest clubs in Europe this summer. The situation is clear. Manchester United are in direct contact with the player's camp. The player himself is very keen on a move to United. According to Fabrizio Romano, United want to get the deal done, and conversations with both the player and his representatives are going well. The reality for the club is that they have a significant advantage here. Other potential suitors, clubs as big as Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid, are currently distracted by other transfer activity. United are trying to use that window to lock down Fernandez before those clubs can fully engage. The approach is smart and calculated. West Ham are holding out for a fee close to £80 million. That is a significant investment, particularly on top of the Ederson deal and a potential £50 million for Summerville. The financial demands of this window are considerable, which is exactly why the Rashford situation is so important to resolve. Every pound freed up from his wages and transfer fee creates more room to manoeuvre on deals like Fernandez. It is also worth noting that the inquiry for Summerville was made during the Fernandez conversations. That is not a coincidence. United's negotiating team is handling multiple threads simultaneously and using each conversation to gather intelligence on the broader West Ham situation. That is efficient and it is purposeful. Afonso Moreira and the left-wing search that led elsewhere. Before we go any further, it is worth briefly addressing the Afonso Moreira situation because it provides important context for understanding how the left-wing search has evolved. Morera is a young Portuguese winger who plays for Lyon. He was briefly linked with a move to Manchester United this summer. The connection made sense on paper. He is a natural left winger. He was handed his professional debut by Ruben Amorim at Sporting CP, and he has been impressive at Lyon, scoring 8 goals and registering 11 assists in 37 appearances across all competitions last season. However, it is now clear that Morera was never high on United's list, and that point has been made definitively by what happened next. Bayer Leverkusen moved quickly to secure a deal with Lyon worth £27.68 million, and the transfer is confirmed. Morera is heading to the Bundesliga, not the Premier League. United will move on to other targets, and as we have already established, that primary target on the left wing is Summerville. Morera's story is useful context because it illustrates the speed at which the market moves and how United must act decisively when they identify a target. The risk of hesitation is a rival club stepping in and making the decision for you. Mason Greenwood and the Marseille, chapter closing. There is one more story worth examining, and it connects to Old Trafford in a very specific financial way. Mason Greenwood, the former Manchester United winger who is now 24 years old, has reportedly agreed personal terms on a permanent transfer to Roma from Marseille. Greenwood had a remarkable season in France. He scored 26 goals and registered 11 assists in 45 appearances. That level of output for a player who was written off by many just 2 years ago is extraordinary. Marseille's failure to qualify for European football and the ongoing instability at the club have led Greenwood to seek a move, and Roma under Gianpiero Gasperini have identified him as a key target. A salary has reportedly already been agreed. The figure being discussed starts at £3.9 million per year, with bonuses that are described as easily attainable due to the performance-based milestones involved. That salary is expected to increase in subsequent seasons. Now here is where this story directly impacts Manchester United. When United sold Greenwood to Marseille in 2024 for £26 million, they negotiated a sell-on clause worth 40% of the profit on any future transfer. That clause now becomes very relevant. If Greenwood moves to Roma for a fee significantly above £26 million, United will receive 40% of that profit. That is a meaningful financial contribution that feeds directly back into the club's transfer budget. The situation is that United were smart in including that clause when they sold Greenwood. Whatever one thinks about how that transfer was handled, the sell-on clause demonstrates financial intelligence on the club's part, and it means that even a transfer involving a player who left the club is still generating value for Old Trafford. The bigger picture and what this all means. Step back for a moment and look at all of these stories together. What emerges is a picture of a Manchester United that is operating with a clear strategy but navigating significant complexity. Michael Carrick has identified midfield and the left wing as the two areas that most need investment this summer. He has already moved on the midfield by securing Ederson. He is now pushing to add Mateus Fernandes to give the engine room real quality and depth. On the left wing, Summerville is the primary target, but that deal cannot move forward until Rashford is sold. The domino effect is real. Rashford must leave before Summerville can arrive, and the longer Rashford remains without a buyer, the greater the risk that Tottenham or Roma beat United to Summerville's signature. At the same time, the Fernandez deal has momentum. United are in direct contact. The player is keen. The fee is significant, but the interest is genuine from both sides. If United can close that deal quickly, it frees up their energy and their negotiating bandwidth to focus entirely on the Summerville situation. The financial demands of this window are considerable. Ederson is done. Fernandez at £80 million is being pursued. Summerville at £50 million is the target on the left. And all of that needs to be balanced against what comes in from Rashford's sale and potentially from the Greenwood sell-on clause. It is also worth noting that United have never made a direct transfer from Lyon. Morera could have changed that, but Leverkusen moved faster. That in itself is a reminder of something important. United cannot afford to move slowly in this market. The clubs they are competing with are decisive, and every day of hesitation is an opportunity for a rival to step in. The evidence suggests that United are aware of this. The inquiry for Summerville was made promptly. The contact with Fernandez is ongoing and direct. The willingness to accept less than £40 million for Rashford shows the club is prioritising speed over maximum return. These are the decisions of a club that understands the clock is ticking. Closing analysis. So where does all of this leave Manchester United heading into the second half of June? The first piece of the puzzle is Rashford. The asking price has come down below £40 million. A buyer needs to emerge before the window really accelerates. Once he is sold, the wages are cleared, the budget opens up, and the left-wing pursuit can begin in earnest. The second piece is Fernandez. Talks are progressing. The player wants to come. United want to sign him. The fee is the remaining obstacle. If United can land him, the midfield rebuild takes a significant step forward. The third piece is Summerville. He is the player United want on the left. He ticks every box in their recruitment strategy, but rival interest from Tottenham and Roma means United cannot afford to wait. The moment Rashford's situation is resolved, expect United to move quickly on Summerville. And threading through all of this is the broader context of a club in transition, under a manager who has a clear vision, operating in a market where speed and decisiveness separate the clubs who get their targets from the clubs who end up with the consolation prize. This is the summer that will tell us a great deal about where Manchester United are heading. The foundations are being laid right now, in these negotiations, in these conversations, in these decisions. The window is wide open and the next few weeks are going to be decisive. Stay with Harris United analyst for every update, every breakdown and every piece of analysis you need to understand what is happening at your club. If this video gave you clarity on a story that felt complicated, then leave a comment below and let us know what you want us to break down next. And if you have not already subscribed, do it now. This channel is built for United supporters who want real analysis, not noise.